1st in 758, we were able to convince the men that the government was not going to spend that much money for that kind of equipment and not have people without knowledge of how to operate the material. And as a result, we worked toward perfection through that particular idea.
Now, at that particular time, it was very definitely a segregated army. Who turned the tide? When did it become not an issue anymore?
Well, we have President Harry Truman, thank for that. He made the change. He made a study of what had happened in Europe during World War II. He found that many Negro troopers had fought with white troopers in combat, and he said it's time for a change. He made that suggestion and it passed. And it was quite a shot in the arm for the Negro soldier, because after this was done, from that particular period until this date, we've had 40 Negroes become generals, one of which was a woman.
Very interesting. We're going to break right now for these messages, and we'll be right back, so don't go away.
I have no more tears left. I was the first daughter in the family just to start college. Now I'd have to leave. Not because of my grades, but because of money. Even with a part-time job, I couldn't afford to go on. Mom and Dad wanted to help, but they were just getting by themselves. Now my dream was going to die. I'd never be a doctor.
When bright young minds can't afford college, America pays the price. But the United Negro College Fund can make the difference. We work to keep college affordable at 42 predominantly black colleges.
Thanks to the United Negro College Fund, today I'm Dr. Linda Doty White.
Support the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Welcome back to Feedback. I'm talking with Lieutenant Colonel retired Charles Gates of Kansas City, Missouri, and Lieutenant Colonel retired Philip Latimer of Lumberton, Texas. Colonel Latimer, why did it take 33 years before the 761st Battalion was recognized?
Well, I think there were probably many factors involved. It would be impossible to discuss all of them, but I think there were probably two principal factors. First of all, we were a small unit, 700 in those days being very small. We had no sort of publicity agency of our own, so that there was no way that people became aware in general of what the 761st accomplished. And then I have no doubt at all but what the fact that most of our men were black had a great deal to do with it. It was very difficult for the average person to understand how much prejudice there was, even in the United States Army when we were fighting in World War II. I could cite many cases, but I won't try to go through them. I'll simply say that many of the high-ranking officers in the United States Army did not really feel that blacks were capable of doing the things that the 761st was able to do.
You were in a very unique position then, being in that battalion, serving side by side, and being able to see both aspects of the problem, and it must have made you doubly proud to serve with that battalion.
Yes, I can certainly say that. And of course, it hurt me also, some of the things that happened to our troops even before we went into combat, and some of the prejudice that we had to fight, because people simply were not willing to give blacks a chance to show what they could do.
A very giant step in our history, wasn't it? You brought, Colonel Gates, some very fine medals here, and I would attest to say that most of us have never seen them this close up before. Tell us about the medals that you brought.
Oh, this, for example, is one of the common medals which you will find in the Army, especially among combatants. This is a Purple Heart.
The Purple Heart.
And if you shed blood, you will find that you are eligible. None of us plan to shed blood, but we do. Silver Star. Bronze Star, I'm sorry, which is for gallantry in action. You never know how it comes about that you are cited for something, but these things happen. And this is the Silver Star, which is for a greater achievement as far as combat activities are concerned. I didn't try to get any medal, including the Purple Heart. All I tried to do was make reconnaissance on combat missions, be able to give my men as much information before passing a line of departure, and then we go and do the best we could.
Mm-hmm. But in the interim, it was very nice that you did receive something for your efforts. I hope that my sons never have to see battle. We have another film clip, and this one is of the actual citation that President Carter did award to the 761st. And we'd like to listen to that, and then we'll discuss how you gentlemen got to go.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as President of the United States and as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the United States, I am today awarded the Presidential Unit Citation for Extraordinary Heroism to the 761st Tank Battalion, United States Army. The 761st Tank Battalion distinguished itself by extraordinary gallantry, courage, professionalism, and high esprit de corps displayed in the accomplishment of unusually difficult and hazardous operations in the European theater of operations from 31 October 1944 to 6 May 1945. During 183 days in combat, elements of the 761st, the 1st United States Army Tank Battalion committed to battle comprised of black soldiers, were responsible for inflicting thousands of enemy casualties and for capturing, destroying, or aiding in the liberation of more than 30 major towns, 4 airfields, 3 ammunition supply dumps, 461 wheeled vehicles, 34 tanks, 113 large guns, 1 radio station, and numerous individual and crew-served weapons. This was accomplished while enduring an overall casualty rate of 50%, the loss of 71 tanks, and in spite of extremely adverse weather conditions, very difficult terrain not suited to armor operations, heavily fortified enemy positions and units, and extreme shortages of replacement personnel and equipment. The accomplishments are outstanding examples of the indomitable spirit and heroism displayed by the tank crews of the 761st. The accomplishments of the 761st in the Siegfried area were truly magnificent, as the successful crossing of the Rhine River into Germany was totally dependent on the accomplishment of their mission. The men of the 761st Tank Battalion, while serving as a separate battalion with the 26th, 71st, 79th, 87th, 95th, and 103rd Infantry Divisions, the 17th Airborne Division, and 3rd, 7th, and 9th Armies in 183 continuous days of battle, fought major engagements in 6 European countries, participated in 4 major Allied campaigns, and on 6 May 1945, as the easternmost American soldiers in Austria, ended their combat missions by joining with the 1st Ukrainian Army at the N River. Throughout this period of combat, the courageous and professional actions of the members of the Black Panther Battalion, coupled with their indomitable fighting spirit and devotion to duty, reflects great credit on the 761st Tank Battalion, the United States Army, and this nation. Signed, Jimmy Carter.
A very impressive moment and a moment of very proud feelings, I'm sure, for both of you gentlemen to be able to be there and accept this award. Now, Colonel Gates, I understand that several years ago, some of you from the battalion went back to Europe to revisit the sites. Tell us briefly about that.
It was the most interesting trip. We started out in Brussels and from there to Paris, France. And then we visited the sites at Molenbeek, Hanskirch, Chateau lanes. And
Did you remember any of those places? Did it look the same at all?
pretty much the same. The terrain hadn't changed much. The towns hadn't changed much. I definitely remember Hanskirch because that was the last time I got shot out of the tank.
Those kind of memories you can't forget, can you? Goodness gracious. Colonel Latimer, I know that you are very deeply involved in getting a reunion organized for your battalion, and that's coming up this fall. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we have over the Labor Day weekend a reunion every year. This will be the 36th reunion of this group since World War II. And I have been made director of this reunion, which will be held at the Adams Mark Hotel in Houston the weekend before Labor Day, from Wednesday through Sunday. And we look forward with great anticipation to this because we get to see all of our friends at that reunion. We also have a memorial service not only for those who died in World War II, but those who have died since, and particularly those that have died since our last reunion. Then we plan to visit the Johnson Spacecraft Center, and I know that's going to be of great interest to the men to get an opportunity to see that. And all in all, I think it's going to be a great reunion.
Now, how many people from Texas were involved in that particular battalion? Do you remember?
I'm not sure of the exact number, but it was rather small. I would say no more probably than a half a dozen. And so far as I know at this time, I'm the only member of the battalion left in Texas.
I see. Okay, now, several years ago, weren't you both invited to Corpus Christi for a special affair, Colonel Gates?
yes, we were. It was interesting. It was to honor Major Warren Creasy. And in doing this, the Naval Air Station in Corpus Christi changed the name of a street, which is one of the major streets at this naval station, from 3rd Street to Creasy Avenue.
How nice. How nice. Now, you are the president at this particular time of your group. Is that right? What is the correct name of your?
The 761st Tank Battalion and Allied Veterans Association.
Okay. And about how many members do you have right now?
Well, to meet at our reunions, we average from 110 to 160 of the actual members of the 761st who were committed in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few more, but we can't find them all. But we're still finding new faces every year, and it's really like a big family reunion.
Now, we talked about the fact that February is the month to remember American history and Black history as well. Our young people, I dare say, do not have the faintest idea what war is all about, thank goodness, and let's hope that they never have to find out. How can we, as wonderful of a society as we are and as much freedom as we have, how can we, from the older generation, instill the pride and the American way into our young people so that if they ever do have to see battle, they will be able to survive? Colonel Latimer?
Well, that's a hard question to answer because I think that got to be a real problem back in the 60s. But I see all kinds of signs that the attitude is changing now, and I think it's affecting our young people as well as our oldest. But I think those of us who have actually seen combat have to realize that we must point out to these people that there's really nothing glamorous about war. That is something that we don't want to do unless we have to. But that we must think enough of our country so that if we're called upon, we're willing to go and do our part.
Colonel Gates, what would you leave to the young people today?
I would say, regardless of how you become involved, if you ever become involved in the military, remember it's a job, a special type of job. Commit yourself, do your best, and it'll always pay dividends.
Very good words. I hope that you both enjoy your reunion this fall. I know it's going to be an exciting time because it's a time of renewing friendships and talking about old times and finding out what people have been doing in the years to come. Thank you both so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this program. We'll see you again next week.